Hi, Bob the Spider Hunter here, and I gotta tell you what, I've been having spring fever. Yeah, it's 52 degrees today. People are coming out of their houses and enjoying some of the outside activities, such as taking a little walk in the park, or in my situation, in the woods, and just taking a look at what's around. Gotta be careful, it's a little bit wet and slippery today. We've had a lot of rain the last couple of days. And yeah, maybe I'll see a couple deer out here, or hawks or something. Spiders are pretty few. I've seen some young, very young wolf spiders around my house. I have also seen thousands of pardozas. That's itty bitty little, probably the smallest form of wolf spiders that there are. And let's see here, I'm gonna take a peek down by the creek side. I gotta focus, I don't fall in the creek. I have to watch how I do this or I'm gonna step in the water. Careful. Oh, we got buds coming out too, look at there. Oh yeah, spring is definitely in the air. Good thing too. I am just getting so itchy to get out and enjoy some nature. Anyway, I thought I'd come out here and film the introduction to this news segment 3. And what better place than come out on a beautiful day and see what's going on out here in the woods. I'm heading across there. See how well I do. Better do pretty good because I'm about 8 feet above the water below us here. In earlier videos, I was showing you the Nephilia clavipes, now named in 2019 as Trichonephila clavipes. And I couldn't help but notice when I started the news thing on the Joro spider that there's a lot of similarities, and that got my interest piqued. And you know, inquiring minds want to know. And because of the various things I've seen in these two spider species, one from Asia and Japan area, and the one here that's came up from South America to the United States, been here about 150 plus years, and is natural to our area now in the southern part of the United States and warmer areas, I wanted to do a comparison study. And I gotta tell you, the thought crossed my mind that maybe somewhere far back in history, before we had the continental divides and the moving of plates under the earth's water, that perhaps there was one species at one time in one place, that the spiders that's in Asia and the spiders we have here in the United States that came up from South America, and they call these two spiders cousins, if you will. Well, they're both from the family Nephili, so there must be some kind of connection. And I'm going to try to show that to you as we make a comparison between these two spiders, both known as Golden Orb-weaving spiders. So, let's get on with the study, and hopefully you'll learn something new, as I learned a lot of new things about these two spiders and how there's similarities in the family. Okay, I just want to cover some general information regarding these two spiders we're going to look at today. And I chose in the introduction to call one the Joro spider and the other the banana spider. In actuality, they both have similar prefixes, and that would be Trichonephila. And now I'd like to say something briefly about the origin of each of these two species. The Joro spider is located in Asian parts of the world, And in particular, a good populace of them are found in Japan. Unlike our native spider, the Golden Silk Orb-weaver or the clavipes, which came up from South America, about 150 years ago, and settled in the southeastern part of our country and southern parts where it's nice and tropically warm. They're both known as Golden Silk Orb-weavers. They both make a special web, which we'll talk about in just a moment. As far as their habitat goes, they enjoy living in areas that are hot or humid, and they enjoy the edges of forest or sometimes the deep parts of forest along the trails where there's some open areas, and that's because they make some pretty good sized webs, and they need some opening to be able to produce those webs so that insects can fly into the web. Both of these spiders, clavipes and clavata, are highly sexually dimorphic. What that means is the female spider is the larger of the two, significantly larger. And both these spiders can enjoy having other spiders like itself in the same area or very close by. I would say probably clavata, the Joro spider, even enjoys the closeness even more so than our own clavipes. And now I'd like to get into some of the more specific similarities of these two spiders, as well as some of the differences that we can see with the naked eye. So let's begin. Now, the very first thing that we see or notice about this spider, which has been on the news media and in all kinds of media forms, is the spider's giant, large, and it is. It's the size of your palm of your hand. Averaging around 3 to 4 inches. Actually 4 is on the higher end, but can get even as large, at least in the native spider to the United States, in very tropical areas, like in Brazil or places like that, South America. They can get up to 5 inches, which is really large. So the term they use for this large spider is called sexually dimorphic. And it just means that the female is larger than, or gigantic if you will, from the male. Sometimes at least 5 or 6 times the size of the male. And that is true for both the species of these spiders. Number 2, these spiders, both of them, build very large webs. Not only are they a large spider, but they build huge webs. I've seen some, at least in the clavipes in Florida, I've seen some stretch as far as 15, 20 feet between trees. Will Hudson, an entomologist at the University of Georgia, has much to say about the amount of Joro spiders and their webs at his home.
It's completely spider averse. If I hated spiders and was terrified of them, and my youngest daughter is, she would never come visit. And I know other people that are even more terrified of spiders than she is. They would be prisoners in their own house. I mean, that's a problem. So they both make very large webs, and both of them like to make them higher off the ground in the trees area. And you can also find them in bushes a little bit closer to the ground area. The other distinguishing thing about the webs is this. If you see them in the sunlight, they glisten with a gold spectacular color, as if the silk webbing was woven in gold. And you can see that in both of these species of spiders. Another thing that you will see about these spiders that I haven't seen in too many others is that not only are these the only two species that weave a golden web, but it also is the one that you will see in both of these species. They make a clump of golden glob of webbing a little off center from the hub. That is typical for both of these spiders. And not only are these webs
golden and large, they also can be very sticky. And that's probably one of the things that most people who have seen both the Joro spider and the clavipes in Florida or Carolinas, and you don't want to walk into their webs because it is very sticky and very annoying. And not only that, if you're afraid of spiders, it can be downright terrifying to get a face full of their big webs. And that's true for many hikers that find themselves going through the woods or forests, and if they're not looking carefully, can walk right through a big web.
I've killed 300 spiders, more than 300 spiders, just trying to get where I can come in and out of the door without face planting into a web.
And then the last thing I want to say about the webs is that they're mesh built. They look like mesh material, little squares of webbing versus straight lined spokes like in a wheel, and then the orb web built around that. Their webs are not that way. Here's an example of what I'm talking about in the golden web, and it's not what you normally would see in an orb weaver's web. So take a look at this. And as you can see, it's unusual. It's large, it's complex, it's asymmetrical, and yeah, it's different kind of webbing. This is a photograph of the Joro spider taken by Ben Frick, and you can see it's a beautiful spider, but even more so, not so much from the top, but underneath. The spider has beautiful colors. You can find some blue sometimes, or orange or red. And here's a picture of the underside of the spider, or the ventral view. You can see some of those colors of the spider from the underneath side. These spiders, both of these species, have very bright, brilliant colors. And is not like the case where birds are usually more colorful for the males and the females. Reversal in these spiders. The females are the ones with the more glamorous coloring, and the males are kind of dull color, tans or browns, etc. On the one that's native to Florida area and the Carolinas, you will find yellows and reds and oranges and black. Just a beautiful spider, very colorful. Both of these spiders more so on the underside of their bottom, their abdomens, than on the top. That's what I call up close and personal. On the top, I would say that our own native spider has a little more color than the Joro spider, which reminds me more of an Argiope, or maybe our banded Argiopes, with the way the colorations of yellow banding, broad banding go across the abdomen. Okay, now we're going to talk about spider legs. There are 3 spiders that you can find, usually in warmer climates, but I also find them here in Michigan, at least one of the 3, and that's the golden garden spider, and they're all large spiders, orb weavers. And then the other 2, the ones we've been looking at in this study, Trichonephila, clavipes, and clavata. So let's take a look at the legs of these 3 spiders, because I want to compare them a little bit. But first, let me just start out with the Joro spider. Joro spider's legs are black and yellow. There's some similarities in the 2 species of spiders, clavipes and clavata. And in these 2 spider species, you have the coloration of the legs, and you also have the size or the length of the legs are fairly long. But that's where it kind of comes to an end, because now there's more differences in these 2 species, and their legs anyway, than in other features that the spider has to offer. For example, Let's take a look at the two spiders side by side, if you will. One of the spiders, the Joro spider, has black and yellow coloration. And that's typical for this spider. Now, in the clavipes species, that spider has more colorful legs that sometimes have black, yellow, orange. So it has a variety of colors that make up the color of the legs. Now in the Joro spider, its legs seem to be a little bit longer than clavipes. However, I think they are more spindly. They're not as thick or bulky as you see in clavipes. If you look at a lot of these spiders in their webs, I find more legs missing on the Joro spider than on clavipes. And that's fascinating because clavipes' legs are thicker, more robust, so to speak. And then here's another difference you can see in the legs of these two spiders. Actually, I think the golden garden spider, its legs look closer to me in coloration to what we see in the Joro spider. Where our clavipes seems to have a very unique coloration and pattern. The other thing that's different is on the clavipes, the native species to Florida, the Carolinas, etc. That spider has tufts of hair or bristles at certain leg joints, and they're very easy to see. You can spot them very quickly with the naked eye. Quite a large black tufts of hair. Or bristles. Now, in the Joro spider, it has the coloration of where the hair may appear on clavipes, but it looks more like it's just the coloration that's larger there along those leg joints. I don't think it has any more hair there than other places on its legs. You will notice that both these spiders, pairs of legs, have some uniqueness in them. On the first two, which are usually the longer ones in the front, I think the Joro has a little bit longer ones in the back side too, but I'm not so sure of that. I can tell you this, that clavipes, our native spider, the tufts of hair that it has are only found on the first and second and fourth leg pairs. The middle leg pairs, pairs number 3, those are the shorter legs. And it's the same with the Joro spider. It has shorter legs as well on the third pair, but doesn't have the tufts of hair. So when it comes to legs, for me it's hands down who's got the more interesting legs, and I'd have to say our native spider, the clavipes, I think has the most colorful and interesting legs, especially with those tufts of hair. Okay, now we're going to move on to the sexual behaviors of this spider. Are you ready? Well, you're going to have to wait till next time. Hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day.